So you've poured all this time and energy into your React Native app. It's finally feature complete, it works, but have you ever just looked at it and felt like something's missing? You know, that little bit of magic that separates a good app from a truly great one? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today, the art of polishing your app. Let's get into it.
Right, so think about this for a second. Your app is functional, sure, but does it feel polished? Does it have that professional, smooth quality that makes it just a joy to use? That feeling, that's the difference we're going to make today. We're going from an app that simply works to one that your users are absolutely going to love. You've already done the heavy lifting, right? You've built the foundation. Now it's time to build the masterpiece on top of it. We're moving past just writing code that gets the job done. Now we're focused on crafting an experience, one that feels amazing for your users and is actually a dream to maintain. First thing we've got to tackle is performance. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff, like crashes or big ugly bugs. Nope. We're going on a hunt for those subtle, invisible performance drains, the things that make your app just feel a little heavy, a little sluggish, especially on older phones. It's that tiny delay the user can't quite put their finger on, but they can definitely feel it. Okay, so let's meet the main character in this whole performance story, the re-render. This is the engine that makes React, well, React. It's what updates the screen whenever your data changes. It is absolutely essential. But like any powerful engine, it needs to be tuned just right, because as you'll see, not all re-renders are created equal. And this breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got your necessary re-renders. These are the good guys. They happen when something the user is looking at actually changes. But on the other side, you've got the performance thieves. These are the re-renders that happen for no good reason. Nothing on the screen changes, but your app is still doing all this extra work in the background, slowing everything down. Our job is to catch them. So how do we stop these little performance thieves? Well, the good news is it's way easier than you'd think. It all comes down to stabilizing our code. Let's look at two really simple but incredibly powerful patterns that will make a huge difference in your app's performance. This right here is one of the most common performance traps. That bad pattern on the left, it creates a brand new function every single time the component renders. Now to a child component, that looks like a brand new prop every single time, which can trigger a whole chain reaction of useless updates. But the correct pattern on the right, it's so much smarter. It just passes a reference to the same function over and over, which keeps everything stable and your UI running smooth.
But hold on a second, there's a catch, isn't there? What happens if that handle safe function is defined inside our component? Well, if it is, then it's getting recreated on every render anyway, and we're kind of right back where we started. So how do we solve this little puzzle?
And the answer is use callback. This hook is your secret weapon. It basically lets you tell React, hey, see this function? Don't you dare recreate it every time. Just give me the exact same one from the last render unless one of these specific dependencies I'm watching has changed. And just like that, you get a truly stable function reference. This is the key to preventing those unnecessary re-renders in child components. Okay, so we've tackled those invisible performance issues. Now let's shift gears and talk about something you can actually see, the user experience. Because a polished app doesn't just run fast, it communicates clearly. It's all about making your app feel intuitive and responsive. And forms are the perfect place to see this in action. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're tabbing through a form online, and you have absolutely no idea which input box you're actually typing in. It's so frustrating. We get so focused on data validation that we sometimes forget about the actual human trying to use the thing. A few simple visual cues can turn that frustrating experience into a smooth one. And here's the best part. Adding this kind of visual feedback is so much easier than you think. It's really just 3 simple steps. First, you create a little state variable to keep track of whether the input is focused. Second, you use the onFocus and onBlur props to flip that state. And third, you just use that state to change the style, like the border color. That's it. And look at how much you can say with just a simple border color. A standard gray border is kind of just chillin', saying, hey, I'm ready when you are. A blue border leans in and says, okay, I'm listening, you're typing right here. And then a red border, well, that's the alarm bell going off saying, whoa, attention needed here. You're giving the user instant, clear feedback without them ever having to guess what's going on.
So here's the big idea. We haven't added a single new feature today, have we? Not one. But what we have added is something way more valuable, craftsmanship. It's these small, intentional details that reduce friction for the user and make a massive difference in how professional and trustworthy your app feels.
So let's do a quick recap. We've learned how to stabilize our components by ditching those inline functions and using use callback. And we've learned how to create a more intuitive UI with simple visual focus states. These are simple changes for sure, but they are incredibly powerful ways to take your app to the next level.
This quote right here just nails it. This is the whole thing. It's not about cramming in more features, it's the care and attention to these little details, the things most people won't even consciously notice, that separates an app that just works from one that is truly great.
So I'll leave you with this question. What's one small detail you can polish in your app today? Maybe it's wrapping a function in use callback. Maybe it's adding a simple focus state to an input. Whatever it is, I really encourage you to go find that one small thing and do it. That's how you start the journey from just good to great.